The morning was unusually quiet, save for the chirping of the sparrows that often nested outside my kitchen window. I had just poured myself a cup of tea, the same routine I'd followed every morning since my husband passed 5 years ago. Life was simple now, not glamorous, but steady. I had my small garden, my favorite chair, and the piece of a house that had been my home for nearly 4 decades. I wasn't expecting anyone that day, so when I heard the distant rumble of a truck pulling into my driveway, I stood cautiously, peering through the lace curtain. A large white moving truck idled by the curb. My heart jumped with a strange mixture of joy and confusion when I saw who stepped out. It was my son, Rakesh, and his wife, Mira. "Ma," he called, his arms spread wide. He looked thinner, worn out perhaps, but his smile carried that old charm he used so often as a boy to get out of trouble. Mira followed close behind, waving, her red dupe hat fluttering behind her like a flag of festivity. I opened the door, blinking back sudden tears. "What a surprise you didn't call. We wanted it to be a surprise," Mira said sweetly, taking my hand. "Besides, Rakesh has some time off, so we thought we'd visit. Spend some time with you." I melted instantly. A mother's heart, after all, is a soft thing, a weakness and a strength. Inside, I made them tea, heated samosas I had frozen weeks ago for guests I never got. They chatted like old times, asking how I was, how the neighborhood had changed, and about my health. I felt warm inside, as if the house had come alive again with laughter and footsteps. After an hour, Rakesh cleared his throat and said, "Ma, we wanted to talk to you about something." I looked up, concerned. "We've been struggling a little with the move and our place. It's not furnished properly. We didn't want to worry you, but we thought maybe we could borrow some things from here, just for a while, like the fridge, maybe the washing machine, even the microwave, if that's okay." I blinked, stunned. "You want to take those, but I use them, Beta." "Only for a few months," Amira chimed in quickly. "Just until we settle. We'll bring them back, promise. It'll save us so much trouble." There was hesitation in my chest, but I looked at my son, my only child, and remembered the scraped knees I used to bandage, the nights I stayed up during his exams, the meals I made with love. What use was a fridge or a TV compared to his happiness? "All right," I said slowly, "if it'll help you, but take care, okay?" Their faces lit up as if I had given them gold. An hour later, the truck was backed up into my driveway. Men began moving swiftly, unplugging, wrapping, carrying. It was strange, surreal. My home emptied around me like sand slipping through my fingers, the refrigerator, the microwave, my mixer, grinder, the washing machine, even the flat screen TV my husband and I had bought in our final years together. Piece by piece, they were loaded into the belly of the truck. Rakesh gave quick instructions, barely meeting my eyes. By late afternoon, the house was eerily silent. "Well, we should go," Rakesh said casually, not looking at the hollow spaces behind me, where once appliances hummed and blinked. "Of course," I said softly. "Drive safe." Mira gave me a brief hug. "Thanks, Ma. We'll return everything soon." I stood by the gate and waved as they drove away, the truck turning the corner and disappearing like a vanishing dream. Inside, the silence had changed. It was no longer peaceful, it was empty. I stared at the wall where the TV had been, the blank space almost mocking me. I tried to make tea, only to realize the electric kettle was gone too. That night, I sat in my chair, watching the quiet darkness. A strange chill settled in my chest, not from the cold, but from something deeper, something I didn't want to name yet. But deep down, a quiet voice whispered, "Something isn't right." The days that followed their visit stretched out like an old, faded cloth, thin and worn, barely holding together. At first, I made excuses for their silence. They must be busy unpacking. I told myself, maybe there's no signal where they moved. They'll call tomorrow, or the day after. But the calls didn't come, no messages, no photos of their new home or how my appliances were fitting in. Each evening, I would sit by the landline, sometimes holding the receiver in my hand, my thumb resting on Rakesh's number, wondering if I should call. And every time I put it down, I told myself they would call when they were ready. After 2 weeks, I finally dialed. The phone rang and rang and rang. Then it went to voicemail. a cold, robotic voice asking me to leave a message. I didn't. Instead, I hung up and sat still for a long time. The house had changed, not just in how empty it felt, but in how I felt inside it. My routine was broken. I hand-washed clothes now, kneeling beside a bucket like I used to as a girl. My food spoiled quickly without the fridge, so I cooked in small amounts. I missed the humming of appliances, the comforting whir of the washing machine, the soft hum of the refrigerator at night. But more than anything, I missed my son. I thought of his childhood, his first steps across this very floor. The way he'd cling to my sari, crying when I left for the market, the school certificates I had framed still hanging in the hallway, the meals I had skipped so he could eat his fill during college, and now all I had was silence. A week later, fate answered me in the most unexpected way. My neighbor's niece, Priya, came to visit. She worked in the city, smart, young, and friendly. She often helped me with mobile apps and such. We were sitting in the garden when I mentioned, half laughing, how my appliances had been borrowed by Rakesh and Meera. She looked up, startled. "Wait, is your son Rakesh Sharma?" "Yes," I replied, puzzled. "I think I saw his name online. There's this app All Bazaar, people sell second hand stuff there. I was looking for a fridge and saw one that looked well, exactly like yours. Even the sticker, the Gange on the side was the same." My heart stopped. "Can you show me?" She opened the app, and within seconds, my world fell apart. There it was, my refrigerator, the same dents, the same magnet I had gotten from Haridwar, listed for rupee 12,000. Then the washing machine, the microwave, even my old mixer, all listed under the name R. Sharma Seller. I stared at the screen, the weight of betrayal pressing on my chest like a stone. He hadn't borrowed them, he had sold them. Everything I had given with trust, he had turned into cash. The worst part wasn't the loss of the appliances. It was the lie, the performance, the smile, the "will return everything soon." I sat in silence, blinking away tears I hadn't allowed before. Priya touched my hand gently, unsure what to say. I smiled faintly at her. "Thank you, Beta. It's good I know now. That night I didn't cry." Instead, I took out the old photo albums, page after page of birthdays, school events, college graduation. His wedding with Meera. I remembered the gold bangles I had given her from my own wedding day. "Family," I had said, as I tied them onto her wrist. What a fool I had been, but I wasn't angry, not yet. Something else was growing inside me, not revenge, not hatred, but a kind of quiet fire. They thought I was too old, too soft, too trusting, but they had forgotten something important. I knew what I had to do. It wasn't about anger. It wasn't about shouting or curses. Revenge is often painted as wildfire, but the truest revenge is a slow burn. Quiet, calculated, and above all, dignified. I started with the papers. I gathered all the deeds to my home, receipts for the appliances, even bank statements showing I had purchased them with my own savings over the years. I contacted a lawyer, a kind woman who listened patiently as I told my story. "We will make this right," she assured me. "Your son took property that belongs to you. It's theft." With her help, I filed a complaint. Rakesh's name was called to court. He was stunned, his pride bruised more than anything. He had not expected the mother he treated like a doormat to fight back. But the story didn't end there. I wanted more than money or the return of my appliances. I wanted closure. I rewrote my will, quietly and carefully. I cut Rakesh out entirely. Instead, I made sure my estate and all valuables would go to a local orphanage and a charity that helped abandoned children get education and a home. I sent letters informing him not in anger but with calm clarity. "To my son who forgot the meaning of family, may you find peace in the choices you make," I wrote. Meanwhile, I started rebuilding my life. I bought small, affordable appliances, a second-hand fridge, a simple washing machine, enough to live comfortably again. But more importantly, I found friends, people who cared about me for who I was, not what I had. I volunteered at the charity I donated to, teaching elderly women how to use smartphones. I planted flowers in my garden and invited neighbors for tea. Slowly, laughter returned to my home. One cold morning, months later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find Rakesh, looking tired and defeated. His clothes were worn, and there was a shadow under his eyes I hadn't seen before. "Ma," he said softly, "I'm in trouble. I've made mistakes. I need help." I looked at him, the boy who had stolen from me, lied to me, and broken my trust. My heart softened for a moment. But I had learned something important. Forgiveness was a gift, but it did not mean forgetting or enabling harm. "I'm sorry, Beta," I said gently, "but I cannot help you this time. You need to face the consequences of your actions." His eyes filled with shock and pain. I closed the door, not with bitterness, but with peace. I returned to my garden, the sun warming my face. I breathed deeply, feeling the freedom of my choices. I had lost many things that year: trust, comfort, even family as I once knew it. But I had gained something greater: myself. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.